Hey, what is going on everybody? Today I will be discussing if Fortnite should have a Chapter 3 OG season. So as most of you already know at this point, Fortnite Chapter 2 will be returning this year in the form of Chapter 2 OG, and it will be featuring the first 3 seasons of Chapter 2. And it got me thinking, since they're doing an OG season for Chapter 2, is there a possibility that Fortnite ends up making a Chapter 3 OG and possibly continue to bring back older chapters? So I'll be discussing if Fortnite should even have a Chapter 3 OG, what potential problems a Chapter 3 OG could possibly have, and overall the possibility of a Chapter 3 OG happening. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. Alrighty guys, so getting straight into this, the first thing I'm going to be talking about is pretty much some problems that could prevent Chapter 3 from ever returning. For starters, is Chapter 3 even popular enough to actually return to Fortnite? Now we know Chapter 3 Season 1 is actually considered one of the best seasons in all of Fortnite by many players, and that season alone is actually still talked about a lot to this day. But taking a look at Chapter 3 as a whole, I don't think the popularity is anywhere close to what we've seen with Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Now if we take a look at how good Chapter 1 was, especially in terms of it returning for an OG season, it pretty much made the internet go crazy. You had millions of players returning for OG Chapter 1. Fortnite was literally breaking records with Chapter 1 OG, and it was very well received overall. And while Chapter 2 is not quite as popular as Chapter 1, there's still going to be tons of older players returning for it because it's still going to be nostalgic. There was a lot of great maps and loot pools throughout, especially during Chapter 2 Season 2. Now taking the popularity of Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, both of those chapters are much more popular than Chapter 3. Yes, there's a lot of Chapter 3 supporters and would probably want a Chapter 3 OG, but Chapter 3 is just not going to receive that same amount of hype that Chapter 1 OG had, or the amount of hype that Chapter 2 OG will have. And I would say this is the main factor that would prevent Fortnite from ever making a Chapter 3 OG, is that it may not be popular enough. And I also think the performance of how Chapter 2 OG does will also be important in Fortnite determining whether they will or will not make a Chapter 3 OG, so we definitely need to wait and see. Now I think Fortnite also needs to consider how Chapter 3 OG will actually work. In Chapter 1 OG, the length of that season was only 1 month, and I feel like seasons that are that short just leave so much room for potential problems. Some of those problems being that everything kind of felt rushed during Chapter 1 OG. Fortnite was pretty much changing the map every week to a new season from Chapter 1. I believe it went from Season 5 to 7 throughout the span of a month, and also I feel like with every future OG season we get in Fortnite should be 2 months long. I think that gives plenty of time for players to enjoy the season, and it also gives Fortnite more time to pretty much perfect everything, be able to fix certain issues, and just keep up with the season overall. And regarding the maps in general with these OG seasons, I feel like Fortnite should really add something new to each OG map and not just implement the same exact map from before. I feel like there just needs to be something new to freshen it up, and I'm also questioning how Fortnite will even keep up with the Chapter 3 map changes, because first of all, there's only 4 seasons in Chapter 3. It's pretty much the shortest chapter we've ever had in Fortnite. Now if Chapter 3 OG is going to be 1 month long, Fortnite could easily change seasons each week and get through every map for each season, but I'm also wondering if Fortnite should even include every season for a Chapter 3 OG, because if we take a look at the latter half of Chapter 3, the last 2 seasons was not that well received by most players, so I'm wondering if Fortnite will pretty much stay on Chapter 3 Season 1 for most of the time, and maybe include Season 2 as well. But overall, there's just a lot more factors that Fortnite really needs to consider in terms of the map changes and improving some issues as well. Another issue I actually remember from Chapter 1 OG was that Fortnite was reusing Chapter 2 models of certain weapons in Chapter 1 OG. So I really hope Fortnite puts more effort into these OG seasons if they continue. And one last issue with Chapter 3 OG possibly coming into Fortnite at some point is that I don't even know if we can consider Chapter 3 to be OG, because obviously Chapter 1 being the oldest chapter, that's easily considered OG. And I think Chapter 2 at this point, it's several years old. I think most players will still consider it to be OG, and they can still use that OG tag next to the chapter name. However, Chapter 3, we were still playing Chapter 3 just 2 years ago. I don't even think it's been a full 2 years at the time I'm recording this video. Me personally, I don't think I would consider this chapter to be OG. Yes, it's an older chapter at this point, but to consider it OG, I feel like it has to be a little bit older than 2 years, and there needs to be more chapters in Fortnite. So I'm wondering if Fortnite decides to make a chapter 3 OG, they'll end up taking off the OG tag and renaming it to something else like chapter 3 returned or chapter 3 revisited. Something along those lines I think would be better and more fitting for it, but I'm thinking it just really can't be considered OG at this point. And if Fortnite decides to bring it back, I feel like they should just wait a couple years before doing so, at least until we're at like chapter 7 or chapter 8. I think it would be more fitting to have a chapter 3 OG at that point. But if they do decide to bring it back during 2025, I wouldn't be too mad because I am a pretty big fan of chapter 3. And also, does Fortnite even need to move on to chapter 3 quite yet? In chapter 1 OG, Fortnite only revisited seasons 5 through 7, and in chapter 2 OG, we're only revisiting the first 3 seasons. And with both of those chapters being the 2 largest chapters, I feel like Fortnite can just continue to go back to chapter 1 and chapter 2 and just revisit other seasons. And they can also make small changes to just freshen it up, add something new to it, and still continue to bring back a lot of players. So there's a chance we don't even see chapter 3 OG or a chapter 3 revisited for a few years now. And Fortnite may just decide to revisit earlier seasons like chapter 1 season 9, chapter 1 season X, and the latter half of chapter 2 as well. So should Fortnite have a chapter 3 OG? In my personal opinion, if Fortnite can extend the length of these OG seasons, put a little bit more effort into it, and possibly change the name of chapter 3 OG, I say yes, let's bring back chapter 3 at some point and let all the players that didn't have a chance to play it get a chance to try it out and enjoy chapter 3. But of course, this is just my opinion, so I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Would you guys like to see a chapter 3 OG or just have Fortnite bring back chapter 3 at some point? Let me know in the comment section down below. But that is going to do it for this video, so thank you all so much for watching. And if you happen to enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like on the video and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And if you guys would like to support the channel any further, you can use my supporter creator code MJB7 in the Fortnite item shop. But thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.